Hello, my name is Kevin Oliveira. I'm the Senior Product Marketing Manager at Forcepoint for Data Security Solutions. And today we're going to be sharing with you a demo of one of the features that are coming out for DLP in Q4 of 2021 at Forcepoint. This one is around REST APIs and being able to do incident management using REST APIs in third-party tools. I also have with me Elad Elkes. Elad, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Thank you, Kevin. Hi, everyone. My name is Elad Elkes. I'm Senior Manager of Product Management, and I'm responsible for the DLP product.
Great. Thanks, Elad. So today, actually in Q4 2021, we're releasing several features that really speak to the benefit that customers are able to get with our DLP, which we call DLP Everywhere. And DLP Everywhere is where our objective is to allow people to have DLP in more places where people work and where data resides. And so we're able to help reduce data loss prevention by being where people are, and as well as at your data wherever it might reside. And then particularly in these days where with all the hybrid work, where there's just a lot of data being placed in a lot of different places, particularly with the cloud as well. So we want to be able to make sure that we're able to cover that. Today with REST APIs, we're particularly focused on where people work. And one of the things with DLP in general, often people consider it to be just very, very hard. And particularly it's harder to deploy and harder to maintain because of so much manual activity. This is a quote from IDC. They said the past 24 months have seen a renaissance in the data loss technologies market. And manual and arcane classification techniques are being replaced by machine learning and automation. And the effectiveness and efficiency of the solutions have gotten better. And so there's really been a big improvement in DLP, and even the estimates of where DLP is going to be going in the future for companies is the growth rates have, among a lot of analysts, their predictions have boosted up quite a bit because there is a lot of innovative things being done. Today with ours, we're looking at this aspect of REST APIs. So I'm going to hand this over to Elad, and then he'll describe what we're doing here.
Okay, thank you again, Kevin. So before we jump right into the demo, let's talk a little bit about REST API in general. So the RESTful APIs are industry standard, the most common API for communication between different elements and different components. It operates over the standard HTTP protocol and exchange data in a common format, usually using the JSON format. Let's jump right into the actual demo, and I will share my screen and we can begin. Okay, so in 8.9 release, we are going to introduce two key APIs. The first is the Incident Management API that will allow customers to pull incident data directly from the FSM. This will allow the customers to pull incident data and perform different operations on those incidents. For example, push the incident data into data lakes and then run analytics over those incidents. In addition, we are going to expose another API, which is the Update Incident API, and this will allow customers to perform workflows on incidents. For example, change the status of an incident, release an incident from quarantine, add comments, tag, closing incident, and other workflows that are available today via the management console. So this, the integration with the APIs will support different business workflows. For example, integration with services like ServiceNow. So now, by integrating with ServiceNow, customers will be able to automate their business workflows by sending API requests to the Forcepoint Security Manager. Let's see how the feature is working today. Okay. Before sending API requests, we need to to authenticate with the FSM. Authentication works by sending a request with a username and password, following by a response which contains the JWT token, which we will use to send the actual API request. So first, we are sending a request with the username and password in the header of the request. We will receive a JWT token, and we will use that token to perform either the get incident API, to send either the get incident API request or the update incident request. So there are two types of incidents that we can pull from the FSM. One is the DLP incidents. The second is the discovery incidents. And we are pulling those incidents by ID. So we can use actually different filters to pull data. For example, we can use a time range to pull, let's say, incidents from the last 7 days, or to pull incidents by their ID. The FSM has also an ability, which exists for many years now, to produce incident into SIEM servers, source servers, using the syslog protocol. So customers utilizing that capability will now be able to perform updates on incidents after those are injected into their SIEM or source servers. Let's see. The second API is the update incident API, and again, we are providing the capability to update both DLP and discovery incidents. Let's see how it works. In this example, we will be using Postman to send requests. And the first thing that we are going to do is to configure an application user. Only application users are allowed to send API requests. From security perspective, we wanted to make sure that only the authorized entities are able to produce those requests. So in this demo, we created application user, and this application user doesn't have access to the actual functionalities of the management console, only to the only permissions that this application user has is to send API requests. So after configuring the user, we now will get back to the Postman in order to send our first request, which is the get token request. So we will have to build the request and to make sure that we are adding the username and password as part of the request header.
One thing, Elad, I'm just wondering, as you're doing this, the Postman, we're using Postman here. You did mention earlier ServiceNow as being a popular third-party app. What would be like the main, like several main apps that would be similar to ServiceNow that customers would be interested in using this feature?
So basically, any service that has integration with REST API, either SIEM servers, source server, proprietary services, or even any code that is any application that can send API request via REST will be supported. So okay, so after sending the first API request to get a JWT token, this is the response, and in the response we have the access token. So the access token is the actual token that we will use to send API requests. Important to say that the access token has an expiration of 900 seconds, and then once the token is expired, we will need to send another request to refresh that token.
The token refreshment, that's just kind of an industry standard practice, or is that something special to what we're doing?
No, that's correct. So the security best practices are provided by our security teams. So we are doing everything that is recommended by the industry, and this design and implementation was also went under scrutiny testing by our product security team. So now, as you can see, we are basically sending a request to get a list of incidents based on a time range. So this is the post request. This is the IP of the FSM and the complete URL for the GET API. We send this request using the access token, and we ask to get all the incidents between this time range. As you can see in the response, we are getting a list of all incidents and the data of those incidents created between this time range, total of 55 incidents. As part of the response, we are getting a lot of the details, a lot of the metadata for the incident are already available today via the UI. But in addition, we are also sending additional attributes that cannot be filtered today via the management console, like business unit and risk level. The second API is the update incident API. So using the update incident API, we are able, for example, to update incidents, change the status for incidents, and add comments, release from quarantine, and etc. In this example, we are sending a request to close, to change the status to closed of all the incidents that we pulled earlier. Another sample for the GET incident API. Okay. As you can see, we have few incidents that are quarantined. Those are actually incidents that were produced from the email channel, and they are now quarantined within the FSM. So by using the update API, we are also able not to just update incidents, but to remediate as well. So this kind of remediation, again, provides more control over the FSM and the incidents and the quarantine incidents. So in this scenario, we are pulling incidents based on time range, and now we will release those incidents we will release those emails from quarantine using the RESTful API.
So is that remediation then you were able to do that all within Postman, or do you have to go back to FSM in any way to complete the remediation?
Everything is automatic, so you don't have to log into the FSM to perform the remediation. The remediation is part of the API. As you can see in this example, this specific incident was originated from a network email channel. So for the network email channel, we are able to quarantine the actual emails that were sent and was blocked because it contains sensitive information. Using the API, which for the demo we are using Postman, but again, you can use any either proprietary or third-party service that you want to use to send those requests. And by utilizing the update API, we are also able to release emails from quarantine, a capability that we can that previously we were able to do to perform only manually by logging into the FSM, selecting the relevant incident, and release it from quarantine. So now we are seeing that the action is quarantine, and now using Postman, we will send a request to remediate and release this incident. The action type, as you can see, is release, and this is the incident, the ID of the incident in the FSM. So now, not only that the status to the action, of the incident was changed to release, behind the scene, we are actually releasing an email that was quarantined. So, for example, let's say an executive had his email quarantined for any reason. Maybe it was a false positive. Okay, using the API, we are able to release those incidents without even have to log into the FSM. So at this point, I will hand it over to you, Kevin.
Or I have another question. So so this is really interesting as far as the ability to be able to see the incidents, to do remediation within this third-party interface. What do you see as the future as far as where we're going with REST APIs going forward, and what is it that we want to bring to customers overall with this whole REST API activity we're doing?
So that's a great question, Kevin. So eventually the goal is to have better control of the FSM via automated tools. So we are going to expose more and more APIs as we go along. We started with the incident management API. Moving forward, we will add APIs, for example, a policy management API. So imagine that you are pulling incident data, you are running analytics on those incidents, and you are performing remediation, changing status, and etc. But once you will have the policy management API, you will be able to fine-tune the policy configuration that is deployed everywhere to both on-prem, endpoint, cloud services. You will be able to fine-tune that policy set using automation. And for example, you will want to enable a rule. Maybe you want to disable a rule that is causing a lot of false positive. Maybe one of your employees is about to leave the organization and you want to monitor that specific user or a group of users more carefully. So using the API, you will be able to include that specific user or a group of users into one of the policies set. Maybe you want to change the severity for the rule because now you want to monitor those users more closely. Okay, so adding that additional APIs eventually will allow better control of the entire FSM by using APIs and connecting other components to DLP.
Great, that's great. Yeah, in particular, that whole aspect of automation, you know, as we were looking before, there's just noting that's one of the big innovations that's happening in DLP today, as far as being able to enable that to happen. And then just making that, again, the tool such an even stronger data security platform for customers. Well, thanks, Elad. That was a great demo of the REST APIs and what's happening with DLP, Forcepoint DLP this quarter. We do have several seminars like this that we're doing for this DLP Everywhere release. There's one around DLP for cloud email, another one for Office 365 granularity, and just having greater visibility into Teams, SharePoint, OneDrive. And so we do have other ones as well. We welcome you to check those out, as well as other seminars, we call them just demos, of some key features with DLP, particularly one around risk adaptive management, which is really interesting. And also, if you are interested in just a demo yourself, a personal demo, feel free to reach out to us for that as well. Thank you.